Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a Terran versus Zerg, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on the map of Blackburn. Spawning here in the bottom right hand corner, playing with the blue SCVs, we have GuMiho and his opponent in the bottom left. Playing with the red Zerg drones, we're looking at Leenock's main hatchery. Alrighty, so this particular series was played during the most recent Olimo League tournament. Now, as you might be aware, Olimo League, they've been changing up their format a little over the last couple of months. Recently, for example, they did a 2v2, which I personally am a big fan of. But for this particular best of 5 series, they decided to go with a all maps played type of format. So rather than paying the winner of the tournament or paying the winner of the series, they decided to pay every single map. So if I'm not mistaken, if I saw correctly, I think it was roughly $37 per map on the line for this particular one. Meaning that in this best of 5 series, I mean, it's technically a best of 5, so I guess I'll put it right there on the scoreboard. In this best of 5 series, we're gonna watch every single map. So for all I know, it could be a, I don't know, it could be a 5-0. Although in my mind, that's kind of impossible because both of these are very close in skill level. Either way, both of these guys, of course, recently came back to StarCraft 2 after completing their mandatory military service over in South Korea. GuMiho came back in July, Leenock came back in April. It's fun though, because they've both been playing this game for a very long time. I remember watching Leenock, I think it was back in like 2013, 2012, maybe even 2011 or so. He's won a bunch of tournaments back then. As a matter of fact, I think that's where he earned most of his money. So when it comes to tournament earnings, he's currently sitting right around $200,000. But most of that, I think, was back in Wings of Liberty. Obviously, there's also team salary and sponsorships and all that, but as far as GuMiho's earnings go, he's sitting at roughly $220,000. Most of that spread out over the course of several years, and most of it is actually in smaller online cups. So GuMiho was always well known, and he's once again doing it, for participating in all of those smaller online events. So he would play in the $50 tournaments, $100 tournaments, $500 tournaments. And obviously, since he was often the best players in the smaller cups, he would just win them relatively easily. It's just that it would take many hours every day. And I guess if you play in like a European event all the way from Korea, you're going to end up with a terrible sleep schedule. I don't really know exactly how GuMiho sleeps, or if he sleeps. I don't know. Either way, he's playing in a lot of tournaments all around the world. Ping apparently is not too relevant if you're really good at the game. Yeah. I hope we're gonna see some more of his games again as well. As you probably know if you've been watching this channel for a while, I'm a huge GuMiho fan. He was playing Blue Flame Hellions with like factory proxies before it was cool. He was playing battle cruisers and mech way before other top level Terrans who were playing that way, so I'm excited to see what he brings to us in this particular series. I secretly hope that he's got some of that spice once again. He was always playing some spicy Terran, and while I feel like it would suck to play against, it's a lot of fun to watch. Alrighty, so very standard opener here so far. Hello, can we make some Hellions? Are we busy microing? Hello. Hellions. There you go. Very standard opener so far, though, from both players, actually. So quick triple hatch opener right here from Leenock. GuMiho going quick 3cc as well, but obviously, you know, being able to wall off his structures relatively easily. He's going to be able to stay safe for the time being. It's going to be that Banshee follow-up here as well, which is really popular these days most of the time. I mean, like a half year ago, we saw Liberators. Yeah, pretty much exclusively, but oh, actually, hold that thought. This is actually kind of rough for Leenock. So he's going for a Roach opener. It seems to me like a 3.5-minute Roach Warren, followed up with 2 additional gases, which allows you to make like a dozen roaches and then flood the map with Zerglings. It's just that it auto-loses to Banshee openers if your opponent is blindly making those. GuMiho is not going for a Banshee. So as much as I love this man's creative play, there's a reason why the standard is the standard. A Raven? A Raven. So Ravens obviously have auto turrets, which is great and all. It's just that it's not going to help him out very much against Roach openers. Leenock obviously trying to hide this as well. He's already got 10 Roaches coming up. On this map, for example, it's really tricky for the Terran player to see if there's any mining going on at the third base, so he'd have to go all the way around to find that sort of thing out, which is probably the reason why Leenock decided to go for this on this particular map. He's been pushing back those Hellions as well, trying to make sure that this Terran player does not scout this until the last possible moment. At the same time, GuMiho is also dodging the Overlord right here with his Raven, so this is about to get really awkward, but I think it should be awkward in favor of Zerg. I mean, it kind of depends. Unless he kills so many workers here. Okay, so there's the auto turret coming down. Problem is, he doesn't know at this point that there's a huge Zerg army at his front door. And here comes the swarm. 3 roaches here have morphed into Ravagers too. It's 3 corrosive biles to kill a Liberator, a siege tank, basically everything that's relevant at this point in the game. Hellions here trying to roast the queens to the best of their abilities, but this is so many workers going down. We already did have the switcheroo right there from the starport. GG is called in game number 1. It goes cleanly in favor of the Zerg. Yeah, so as much as I like the Raven opener, it's a very greedy start when you go for the triple CC into Raven, right? So I do feel like Ravens are very underused in Terran versus Zerg. But there's no denying that the standard is the standard for a reason, right? So if you want to go triple CC, you kind of have to follow it up with a Banshee so you don't die to stupid stuff, right? So usually when you go for a macro build, not dying to stupid stuff is one of the main goals. And yeah, even though I think that that was something that GuMiho could have easily defended, sadly for him, it wasn't meant to be. GuMiho, apparently not so good at rock, paper, scissors as Leenock. Leenock going for that build actually on that map was pretty clever too, obviously, because the Hellions can't really go all the way around. Hello? Ooh. Okay, that was a little bit awkward. It's gonna be like, yeah, okay, now it's a 17 hatch, fair enough. Anyways, Leenock cleverly playing that on Blackburn, because obviously if you want to scout if there's any drones on Blackburn, you have to go all the way around the gold base with one of the Hellions at the very least, and then, you know, if you leave the main lane alone, obviously Zerglings with speed can just run straight to the natural. You kind of have to be out there with the Hellions, so rock, paper, scissors going in favor right there of Leenock. Ooh, would you look at that, actually. GuMiho building the barracks on the low ground. Huh. So this is something we never really discuss, but spawn imbalance is definitely a thing in StarCraft 2. You can especially notice it in Terran versus Terran. But the way that Terran attachments work here on a barracks or a factory or a starport is that they will always spawn on the right side. Meaning that, I mean, usually what happens here is you go for a reactor as a follow-up on the barracks, and then you switch it around with the factory, and then the factory pumps out 2 Hellions at once. It's gonna be very vulnerable over here, right? Whereas, like, if GuMiho would have spawned on the other side of the map, then obviously the tech lab or the reactor would be on the right side of the structure instead, and then it would be safer. In Terran versus Terran, this happens sometimes with, like, siege tanks on the high grounds gunning down attachments that can be spotted on the high ground. It's one of the things that Terran players, you know, really dislike. I actually don't understand why we can't just, I don't know, decide where the reactor is gonna go. I'm pretty sure this is something Blizzard had in mind at some point, but they never got, you know, to actually putting it in the game. Would be nice if you could choose on what side the barracks would be producing this reactor over here. Either way, it doesn't really matter all too much. Reaper has made his way across. Show us your micro, GuMiho. Do you still have it? Have you been keeping up with your League of Legends or your Dota or whatever you play? I know a lot of the Koreans play either of those 2 games. Microing 1 unit. Yep. He still has it. Proxy starport coming up. It gets scouted though right away right here by Leenock, who accidentally finds this with an overlord. Okay, I don't speak Korean, but I understand that much. Greater than question mark? There you go. And GuMiho's like period, period. There you go. Perfect Korean, guys. I did it. So I guess what he was planning on is making a couple of Hellions and then putting them inside of a Medivac and then dropping them off inside of the opponent's main base. Probably. Not 100% sure. It's kind of difficult to pull off. Actually, that is apparently what Leenock is putting his opponent on right now as well. He's gonna go Viking as a follow-up as well as a Fusion Core all the way at home. Huh? So wait, how are you gonna do anything with the Fusion Core though? You're not gonna be able to build a tech lab over here and start up a freaking battlecruiser at the 3rd base of the Zerg. This is what I mean with Leenock, or sorry, with GuMiho, man. Like, he plays weird games of StarCraft and I kind of love it. So right now a Viking popped out first, which is definitely not something that Leenock expected, because otherwise he wouldn't have left that Overlord around. Either that or he was very busy microing a couple of those Hellions. Zerglings though going across the map. Roach Warren just about to finish up too. Again, a very quick Roach Warren right here for the Korean Zerg player. So what's this starport gonna do? Oh, okay, it's gonna make a tech lab over here. I was gonna say, like, the Fusion Core is already done. Marauder starts up at this point for GuMiho, who I guess has seen... No, he hasn't seen the... Has he seen the Roach Warren? Hold up. No, he did see the roach one. Okay. It's not very hidden either. Anyways. Zerglings apparently countering the thing that was supposed to counter them. Ooh. Yep, and that's all of the Hellions gone right now. I do love the fact, though, that he's adding on... Wait. He added on a Marauder. Am I crazy? I swear I saw a Marauder on the production tab. Hold up. I'm going back. Okay, there was a Marauder on the production tab. I'm not going crazy. Sorry. We're back at where we were at. So, triple bunker here is a follow-up, but the roaches are already marching. Battlecruiser comes up as well, but the Battlecruiser is still quite a while from finishing, right? These things take, give or take, a year or two to finish. So at this point, the Viking scouts out exactly what is coming up as well, right here on the side of the Terran. Siege tank, though, will be available relatively soon. Obviously, corrosive biles do not outrange siege tanks. Okay, decides to... This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, bile down the attachments. Droning behind, though, is Leenock. So it's not like he's going completely all in. He's just trying to maximize damage here. Obviously, there's no way for GuMiho to notice and actually losing that siege. Oh, God. Oh, no. No, Viking, bro. Viking, bro. What was that, man? Your buddy blocked. Here I am. Telling GuMiho he's such a good mobile player with that first Reaper. And, well, apparently it wasn't meant to be, huh? Okay, so basically what Leenock is trying to do right now is just maximize SCV damage. The more SCV damage, the better. I think you should target the SCVs, as a matter of fact. Guess it's because the Battlecruiser has arrived, huh? Yeah, the Battlecruiser has arrived. He should be target firing the SCVs down, but he's too busy losing queens at home. Not expecting the Battlecruiser at all, though, is Leenock, so he's gonna be trying his very best to start up a couple of spores at this point. Lair only halfway done, so there's definitely not gonna be any sort of, I don't know, Spire transitioning coming up. Normally, Spire is gonna be the name of the game. As far as base defense goes against this sort of thing, you pop out a couple of Corruptors. They do quite well against the BC. It's gonna be plural very soon, though. And 2 Battlecruisers, I don't really see exactly what Leenock is gonna be able to do against that. I mean, he's going for 1,000,001 Spore Crawlers, it seems. But this is definitely something that the Zerg player is not too happy with, especially after dealing a whole lot of damage on the other side of the map, just like a minute and a half ago. Who called in the fleet? There's number 2. Normally when you go for at least 2 of these BCs, you'd also go for the Yamato cannon upgrade, the weapon refit inside of the fusion core. When you have 2 of them, apparently you can easily target fire down one of these Spore Crawlers as well. Nice little bit of Spore Crawler micro deal. Trying to keep this all alive until the Spire finishes. Battlecruisers can definitely sneak behind the back and target fire down the Spire if they find it. It's a big if. Yeah, he's just trying to maximize damage. Is he thinking about going for the base? I guess he is. Queen over here popped out of the hatch, instantly killed. 3rd Battlecruiser. Ready to go as well in about 30 seconds time. If he finds the Spire and kills it, that would be amazing for the Terran here. Anyways, there's a follow-up right now. Terran's already transitioning towards additional factories. So GuMiho is once again gonna be playing mech. The Towel Terran is back. I'm excited. I know a lot of you enjoy watching the man too, but yeah, it's fun. So it's actually Mutas. No, why would you go Mutas? I don't like Mutas against Battlecruisers at all. I know it's very popular, but like, please, no. So the Mutas are not meant for killing the Battlecruisers unless they're very low hit points. They're meant for base harass. So Battlecruisers are kind of slow. Well, I mean, he's got to be very careful, actually. He spots the Mutas. Okay, does decide to jump them back home. Obviously, the Battlecruisers can be repaired back up to full health, which he's going to need. These Mutas obviously very quick. They're going to be able to get across the map very easily. There's the Yamato cannon upgrade. There's a couple of Cyclones coming up as well. Yeah. So this is usually what you do, right? With Mutas, like a lot of newer players to StarCraft 2 make the assumption that Mutas are meant for killing units. Killing units is not what they're here for, okay? They're just here for killing workers. That's all they're here for. So you basically buy a lot of time with them. You try your very best to build up as many drones in the meantime here as you can. So he's just outpacing those Battlecruisers. He could definitely split up the BCs. Do you think GuMiho realizes he could, like, put one in each base? Don't think that would be a bad idea. One BC might not necessarily win against 7 Mutas, but 7 Mutas would take forever to pull this off. Anyways, now it's a couple Corruptors coming up. Okay, I see. So Leenock securing the 4th hatch. Going +1 flyer as well, so he's definitely planning on sticking around on flying units for a little while longer. Widowmine added into the mix. Cyclones added on into the mix. Missile turrets added on into the mix. Battlecruisers have tactical jump again off cooldown, so thought about going back there for a second. Mutas still getting work done, though. You know what? I was criticizing the Mutas, but killed quite a lot of workers. Obviously, some of that was killed as well by the roaches earlier, but okay. Oh, he's just here to finish the job. He's just here to finish the job and get that hatchery killed. Fair enough. I guess that's worth researching Yamato Gun for, right? Even if it's just that, obviously he's probably going to be able to kill more stuff going forward. So now you're awkwardly sitting on a whole bunch of these Corruptors. What exactly is the plan with those? I guess we're trying to just YOLO them in. Works out. Okay. 1 BC is gone. 2nd BC is gone too. 3rd will live for now, but pretty sure Leenock will be back for more as soon as that one is out of position. He's going melee and missile upgrades, although he cancels one. Oh, this game has been recovered from a replay. Okay. What happened? Ready. 3, 2, 1. Then someone apparently left and joined and... Okay. Anyways. What was I saying? Oh yeah, he canceled +1 melee to go for... Yeah, to go for missile and carapace instead. Fair. I feel like +1 melee is still very good. Especially when it's already like... a bunch of the way done. It's a good idea to just finish it. Maybe go for the 3rd Evo instead. Either way, there's better... Hello. What? What just happened? No. Get out. Get out. Oh, so greedy. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Both players apparently feeling generous. Obviously, Leenock just forgot to attack move his units there, or purposely wanted to move momentum so they wouldn't get distracted along the way. Could have had himself a battlecruiser, I'm pretty sure. Unless GuMiho decided to tactically jump it right away. You know what? Actually, I think the outcome would have been the same. The problem is, right? Okay, it's 14 swarm hosts as a follow-up. The problem is here for the Zerg that he's got, you know, 10 Corruptors worth of dead supply. And 16 swarm hosts are also 3 supply each, right? So, like, they're gonna also... So, he's basically got, like, 70 army supply doing very little. Which makes me a little concerned for him. Because his actual army will be tiny. Yeah, so he's just going for very aggressive moves here, losing a couple of these units along the way as well. So this is the army, by the way. This is Leenock's army. Whenever you see Ravagers, whenever you see a Rogue Ravager Swarm Host, especially... Well, I don't know about this, Leenock. What are we doing right now? Are we just giving them up? Oh, I really don't like it. Ugh. Anyways, whenever you see a Swarm Host-based army, the supply count is... Yeah, it's deceiving you, okay? I don't know if I like the Swarm Host transition either. Normally, it's really good if the Terran opponent is still kind of stuck on like 150 supply. But GuMiho is already pretty much maxed. Look at this. He's just shopping for every upgrade he can get right now. Smart Servos is even coming up, okay? Here comes the Locust Wave. First Locust Wave is always the important one. Gets 1 siege tank and I think maybe a couple Hellions there. So the problem is, right? While these Swarm Hosts are on cooldown, so this is nice actually, a little hit squad over here. Ooh, I love it. Ooh, that's so nice. Kills a base. While those Swarm Hosts are on cooldown, the Zerg army is so much weaker. So I really do like here what GuMiho is doing. He's like, wait a second, if you're going to be playing Swarm Hosts, that's fine and all. But if you want to, like, not die, you're going to have to use them defensively. Now, Nidus Worm comes up inside of the main base. GuMiho does still have a roaming army and is simultaneously pushing... He's pushing with, like, a similar army, but with added siege tanks into the mix. Over here as well. Okay, 3rd CC gets lifted. This one will be killed. At the same time, he's also destroying one of the hatches. Locusts obviously are going to be on cooldown. That's a Dutch word. They're going to be on cooldown again. It's an English version of the Dutch word weer. There you go. Sometimes I accidentally do that. It doesn't happen often, but... Anyways, they're going to be on cooldown again. +3, +2 is coming up as well for Gumi. New Corruptors were added into the mix. Gumi, I was like, wait a second. If you give me those units for free, let me see what happens. Swarmos, though, do have their Locust available once again, and I've got a bit of a sandwich here. No, Leenock, you can go kill that entire army, man. I feel like you use it on the army. I really feel like you use it on the army. Anyways, he decides to go after the Planetary Fortress instead. Planetary will definitely go down. Yeah, that thing deals so much damage. That thing being the Locust Wave. Okay. Dude, GuMiho is all over the map with mech. Oh, I love it. So most of the time when players play mech, they just kind of, you know, all army attack move towards the other side of the map, right? And it's a bit of a noob trap to have everything in one big ball in StarCraft 2 in general. Having everything in one big clump usually doesn't really do you any good, but it's really hard to position your mech units because they're slow and usually they're siege tanks, right? It's really hard to position them in the right place at the right time. GuMiho, though, showing us that, yeah, splitting your army is definitely doable as a mech player, even though the units aren't very quick and even though you might need them. Look at this. Leenock trying to go for a lucky wave. Not quite getting it. Roaches and Ravages, though, are... Yeah, they're getting some work done. There's not really that many siege tanks over here, so maybe he split this a little bit too aggressively. A couple of siege tanks. Looks like they got blown up as well, but now, once again, Swarmos are on cooldown. Okay, he's gonna go after the Nidus network here, which is kind of clever. There's still a couple of worms out on the map, if I'm not mistaken, although he may have already killed those as well. Ravages at the same time over at the natural expansion of Gumi. Can he actually break through all of this? Yeah, there's so many corrosive biles that even the structures right now can be killed relatively easily. And this is actually where the swarm hosts are once again phenomenal. Swarm hosts are going to be so powerful when you can use them on cooldown, right? So if Leenock gets a couple more waves of those units out, it's going to be really, really good for him. It's just that already the Terran army right here is at the front door, and there's a lot of blue flame Hellbats in here too. So those Hellbats, yeah, he's trying to manually control the Locusts right now to go on top of the siege tanks and the Cyclones instead. But the Hellbats, they are really good at roasting a bunch of those units. Leenock realizes that there's no way for him to win this game, and he decides to tap out. Alrighty, so that brings us to Lightshade. Fun game so far. Especially, well, game number 1 was a little bit of rock, paper, scissors, I guess. But game number 2 especially was really good. Let's see what we're gonna have right here on Lightshade. Usually Lightshade is a pretty good Zerg map. Wouldn't be surprised at all if Leenock decides to go for a more macro-focused approach over here. Although, I think he went 3.5-minute Roach Warren in both games, didn't he? Yeah, pretty sure he went 3.5-minute Roach Warren in both games. The Leenooctopus. He was well known as the Leenooctopus as he was always controlling multiple armies at once. And obviously only an octopus can do that. Gumi once again going for the low ground Wolof. Interesting. So it's Depot over here, but then low ground Wolof. I mean, I actually like it quite a bit on Lightshade. So usually Zergs tend to park their Overlord over here. If you go like Reaper into Marine, you can temporarily lift up the barracks to kill the Overlord and get high ground vision, right? Yeah. Alright, so Gumi is actually not gonna have an Overlord right there on that pervert pillar. Instead, Leenock is gonna try and scoot it around the back. Normally he can find a starport or I don't know, a fusion core or something, or an armory. Hiding around the main base, but Gumi has been focusing most of his tech in his natural expansion so far. SCV going across the map. This is a little scout that is often forgotten by weaker Terran players. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes, you know, because they feel like it. So basically what you do is you scout, you see, okay, is it gonna be a quick natural expansion? If yes, then you can send this Reaper across. If no, you gotta be very careful. SCV actually decided to stick around for a little while, just to be even more of a jerk. Wait. No, bro! Okay, so Gumi definitely has proxy plans once again, right? He was supposed to leave that there for like another 3 seconds and the hatchery could be blocked. It's not the end of the world, but yeah, he definitely has plans to proxy once again. It has to be. Because otherwise, why would you move that SCV away? Okay, there it is. Starport coming up right outside of the main base of the Zerg. Double gas. So Gumi once again ready to produce a couple of Hellions, which he's been showing every single game so far. I think this is what he had planned in game number 2 as well, and then he kind of like had to adjust and think on the fly. So one medevac can hold a grand total of 4 Hellions. It takes 3 Hellions to fire all at once to one-shot a mineral line. I mean, at least the units that are affected by the fire, I suppose. So it is, yeah, it is definitely a good combo of things. So there's indeed that. Yeah, this is quite powerful. So link speed obviously is not going to be done. Unless Zerg is patrolling units over here, or he has an overlord in the back. Oh, what? Alright. Sorry about that, Leenock. No idea what that announcer shouted. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. He's got to go Hellions into the natural and units into the main base? I guess it's because that overlord would have figured it out otherwise. Okay. Getting a couple of workers killed. So what are we doing with these other 2 Hellions? They're just kind of idling on the edge of creep. Liberator is a follow-up as well. 3.5 minutes have come and gone. Oh, he's waiting until there's 4. Oh, I see. I feel like this push was a little bit out of sync. Yeah. I mean, this all at the same time would have done way better. Right? Because then the queens over here are going to be scrambling towards the main base. Although GuMiho, I think he didn't distract his opponent in the first place anyway. So there's once again a Roach Warren. Man! Is Leenock just playing roaches every game? Is that what he does? So the normal thing to do is to go either double upgrades or layer with Bailing Nest and then go quick Bailing Speed. Leenock going for a random Roach Warren. No lair, no nothing, no upgrades, no nothing. I guess he really wants to make a round of roaches here. It's just that there's already Hellbats. Ooh, Medevac now gets killed. Good transfusion here as well by Leenock, keeping all of those units alive. And this is really good defense. Really good defense. Yeah, nicely done right here by Leenock. Once again, couple Hellions. No Zerglings available this time to save the day. 7 workers have been killed in total. Roaches are just about to spawn. Oh my god. Are these 2 Hellions dealing more damage than everything else so far in this game? I believe so. This Hellion driver is not going down without a fight. Alright. Oh, even a Banshee. What? Oh my god. He's just getting everything. Normally, you bring this thing back home as well to go for some Medivac production. This time around, Gumi is going to go for a bio transition, but obviously those upgrades are going to be super duper late. Okay. Trying to maximize damage output. There's already, though, multiple spore crawlers inside of the mineral line, which is an indication that Leenock was anticipating a battlecruiser transition once again. Maybe that's also why I decided to pop down a Roach Warren. Roaches and Corruptors are pretty good. Drones, though, have already been evacuated on over towards the natural. A lot of lost mining time. And once again, a Hellion drop inside of the main base. GuMiho is relentless. It's so sick, isn't it? This man is so slippery. It's crazy. GuMiho out there doing an hour of yoga before he goes onto the ladder to destroy some nerds. Greases himself up in Vaseline and lube. Head to tippity toe. He's all ready to play some Terran. Hit his opponent at 17 different angles at once. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. Well, GuMiho, Did it work out, though? Let's have a look at the big picture. Yeah, so 12 drones is the grand result over here, which is fine, don't get me wrong. It's just that he lost all of those units in the process as well. So now finally, by the way, Leenock finds out as he tries to make a base that there's a random tech lab over here. Alright. Gumi wants to go into the main base once again. So the reason why normally we don't see this all too much is because you need medevacs at home. Like, we're now talking a Bio-Terran player at the 8-minute mark with one medevac, and the medevac is low hit points and on the other side of the map. You know what I mean? So like any kind of 2-2 timing attack that usually follows this is gonna be so late. Like a 1-1 push is basically something he can't do, right? So there finally goes the reactor. He's gonna need, like, I don't know, I want to say at least 6 medivacs at this point. It's gonna take him a while to build those up. And they're quite expensive, too. So Leenock is gonna go for the Mutiling Bane style once again. His upgrades are also incredibly late, though. Oh. So for comparison's sake, it's very common to see these upgrades coming up at the 4-minute mark. Obviously, he was kind of busy putting out fires at that stage in the game, but he's now actually 2 entire upgrades behind his opponent, despite the fact that, you know, I feel like he could have had the advantage there. Okay. Missile turrets are already set up. This army is looking so dangerous. Bailing speed, I mean, these upgrades are late, but bailing speed is also only halfway done. The creep spread is pretty good. But how in the world are you going to kill this? Apparently by going for a counterattack. So the best defense is the offense. Medevacs once again get killed. Hatchery on the low ground just completely evacuated. This one over here is scouted right there, but it's scouting tech lab. I don't know if a scouting tech lab is that great of an idea, but it'll do the job, I suppose. All right. So now all of a sudden we've got ourselves a bit of a base race, but as I've said a million times before, not a big fan of... Oh, God. Hello, Gumi. Okay. I'm not a big fan of base racing Terran players as a Zerg because Terran structures can fly. Here come Brenda, Karen, Margaret, Lily, Susan. They're transfusing each other back up. To the best of their abilities, Zerg is coming in from lots of different angles. Corrosive Bowels are connecting right now with the siege tanks. Mutas, though, coming back home. At this time, there's also Bailing Speed that has finished up. Natural Expansion is gone. Third base is gone. And while GuMiho did end up losing one of his own command centers, which I think he could have saved, he still comes out of this ahead, right? I think so. Man, this has been a very aggressive series. I love it. Alright. So the scouting tech lab has also figured out what's happening here. It's relayed that information back home to the Terran main. And at that point, it was just a matter of time until GuMiho walked in over there to kill it. Oh, of course. Load up the units into medivacs. As many as you can fit. Send them to the other side of the map. He knows that there's gonna be a couple mutas out, but the mutas are just here to tickle the tech lab to death, and then eventually they'll probably leave. Usually. Yep. At the same time, GuMiho, once again, sending literally all of his units at home towards his opponent's side of the map. Like, these are the only units right now for base defense. I'm just saying, if this was Raynor, there would be Zerglings all over this Terran's base. Like, Raynor would be absolutely relentless. Raynor, I believe, is actually on holiday right now. Judging by his Instagram story. He's somewhere in the mountains. I don't know. Anyways. There we go. Little bit of aggression inside of the main base because of that double medevac drop. This drop over here, though, also gets denied quite well. Spawning pool is gone. It's a little bit awkward. Spawning pools take a very long time to produce, actually. You kind of forget about that, but... Ugh, Lara's taking so much damage. Okay, maybe could have gotten it if he really wanted to. Decides to maximize the damage here on the medivacs and whatever... Or sorry, on the Mutalisk and whatever else he can get. Medevac wants to get out really badly. Trying to buy time, right? Giving this Terran army over here a lot of time as well to go in for another base kill. My god. This is some of the most aggressive Terran player, or some of the most aggressive Terran play I've ever seen, man. Insane. Alright. Stop hitting him, GuMiho. He's already dead. Well, I say that, right? It's not like GuMiho is that much eco either, so he's been sitting at basically 3 base saturation for the longest time. Main base and natural expansion are running out of money. This base over here becomes incredibly important. Rather than leaving units at home to try and defend against that, he's just using reinforcements to push back those Mutalisks. GG is called eventually though, and Leenock leaves the game. Alrighty. Next up, 2,000 atmospheres. Let's find out if Leenock is once again gonna plant down a Roach Warren at 3.5 minutes. Or really not, I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing some new maps again. It's been a little bit since we've had new maps added to StarCraft 2's multiplayer. I would like to see a little bit of it. Don't get me wrong, the current map pool is pretty good. Okay, you know what? I like this. So there have been low ground barracks for the majority of this series. Going for a pool first can definitely punish that. This time around, though, GuMiho has shown it twice. He's playing some mental gymnastics over here. Mental yoga. And he's going to be able to, well, defend this pool first relatively easily. At least he should be able to. This is where that SCV scout becomes in very handy as well. So Leenock is probably gonna, yeah, fall flat on his face with this opener. Assuming this SCV goes across the map again, right? He needs to send that one across. If he skips it to try and maximize eco, that's not great. No, no. No. You gotta, like, scout, man. Okay, so this is actually kind of rough now. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Okay, GuMiho, I was gonna say, if he sends the Reaper blindly across the map, he's gonna be in some trouble. Leenock right now with his first OV scouts as well that there's nothing on the low ground. He already does have 6 Zerglings coming across the map. Unless this Reaper goes across, this should be relatively easy for GuMiho. He skips the Marine as well. Okay, so he skips both the SCV as well as the Marine follow-up after the Reaper. At least the Reaper isn't on the other side, so that's something, but... Hello, hello. Almost got surrounded. Yep. And GuMiho can keep this up every day of the week. Okay. So where do we find ourselves afterwards? After all of this is said and done? Well, with a later third hatch, and much less drones than he would normally be at. I mean, not much less drones, but less drones than he should be at anyway. Little bit of a delay. Scouts out at the very least that it's a classical 1-1-1 as a follow-up, so not a quick third CC, so that's something. Bit of a silver lining here, but in general, not ideal here for the Zerg player. Is it the end of the world? Nah, not really either. But you definitely hope for a little bit more when you go pool first. He's already added drones back into the gas, by the way, if he even pulled them off in the first place. So, wouldn't be surprised if once again we're gonna have a 3.5 minute Roach Warren coming down. Although this time around there's not even a third a third hatchery either, so... GuMiho is gonna find out about this as well for the first time right now. It's gonna be a lair instead. Okay. Very quick lair. There's additional gases. So I guess this is a 2-base Muta opener then? You still need the third hatch though if you go 2-base Mutas. So there's the Baling Nest. Yeah, it has to be Mutas if you take all these gases right now. So he's just trying to power up to 44 workers here. Banshee has a follow-up here from GuMiho, so this time around he is gonna take all of the necessary precautions. Yeah, so no third. I don't really like this too much here for Zerg. Like, yeah, you can make a Spire, but Spires also take a long time to produce. Lair should be, yeah, done. Hello. Wait, what? He starts up Zerglings? 14 Zerglings. So he's got into his opponent's natural expansion. That's something. Oh, there's the Spire. Why is that Spire so late? Huh? So, like, that Spire was like a good 10 seconds later than the Lair. Like, that Lair was already... GuMiho doesn't have that many workers either, though. But he's got mules, right? He's got a third CC coming up right now, too, which I like. Here's the Hellions. A few Banelings are just about to finish. So that should make defending against this sort of thing a little bit easier. Banshee over here trying to be an absolute nuisance as well. So normally, right, what you do as a Zerg here, if you go for this quick of a Muta opener, is you go for a third hatch, and then while the Mutas are out... Nice Baneling detonation there. While the Mutas are out, then you decide to drone up the third. The problem is that, yeah, Leenock defends all of this, but there's like no longevity, you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to be able to kill his opponent with just a bunch of Zerglings, a few Banelings, and some Mutas. At least he shouldn't be able to. Now finally the third hatch comes up. Okay. He's going to need to deal a lot of damage. It's just one Marine for now. Oh my god. No way. Is this going to work? Hold position right here on the SCVs, which I quite like. Making it harder for these Lings to get in. You know what? This is actually dealing quite a lot of damage. Marine over there gets killed as well by the Widowmine. Such a traitor. There's no missile turrets, right? Like, okay, there's a couple coming up right now. He has seen the Spire when he went in the main base with the Hellions. Man. Gumi is, yeah, cutting this awfully close, but I think he should be okay. You should probably lift the depot, though. Like, I would not mind lifting the depots at this point. Here come the Flippy Flappies. Viking goes down, Marine goes down. Banshee probably will get killed here as well. I don't like it, man. That was one Muta going down, but now it's a Roach Warren as a follow-up and 10 drones. This is some very aggressive StarCraft too, though. It's just that, like, I've played a lot of games like this as Zerg, right? I've played a lot against this as Terran as well, although I haven't played nearly as much Terran as I have played Zerg. Either way, whenever you have 3 CCs as a Terran player, and, you know, there are 3 orbital commands, you're pretty happy, right? You're happy to lose 20 SCVs, because you know you can still drop mules and get back into it. Like, income-wise, this is gonna be kind of rough. Maybe that's also why he's transitioning right now towards Roaches. But he's also adding on 4 more Mutas. I'm very conflicted. Okay. So normally with Muta play, you play it off of like 70 to 80 to 90 workers. Right? So Leenock has been playing this off of like 40 to 50, which means that you need to deal significant amounts of damage. Was this significant amounts of damage? No, not really. I mean, it was good, but don't know if it was enough. Gumi actually decided to sneak out that Banshee. It's got 12 kills. He doesn't expect his opponent to have any Spore Crawlers over at the third, and he would be right. It's very risky to do this, obviously, against someone who's going Mutas, but it snuck out and managed to get across. Target fire down whatever you can. There you go. 3, 4, 5 workers, not a bad idea. There you go. Worker number 4. I love this Banshee. Oh, okay. Bit of a misclick there, sadly. Why do we have so much energy on this orbital command? I don't know. Don't lose the CC. If you lose the CC, I'm gonna be sad. Man, these Mutas are doing way more than I expected, but I still don't think they've done enough. Maybe I shouldn't be such a negative Nancy over here, but... I'm not sure. Siege tank gets killed as well. Oh, no, it doesn't. It got picked up right there by the medivac. Nice control. Sorry. In the meantime... Ooh, a Widowmine drop. Okay, a Widowmine drop killed 9 workers. That is not bad whatsoever. Was it a drop? Hold up, I'm gonna back off for a sec. It has to... Yeah, it has... Yeah, it was a drop. Okay. So... Widowmines right here. Flying to the main base of the Zerg. And this is while he's controlling those mutas right on the other side of the map. Kind of difficult to... retargeting here as well. Oof. Kind of difficult to control everything at once. This is while that siege tank gets safe. And finally, while there was some light at the end of the tunnel here for Leenock, I feel like he's now, once again, getting shut down. That being said, this is a huge amount of roaches, and one of the siege tanks obviously is low hit points. There's only one siege tank. This is a very scary Zerg push now. Mutas into Roach Ravager. I don't know if I like it, but it seems like this is definitely something that has potential. 1-1 though is like 10 seconds before it finishes. You should wait. Okay. I mean, the upgrades are a little bit later than we probably want them to be honest. Yeah, he is waiting for ground carapace and missile attacks, but... It's also going to give the Terran player a little bit of time now to get reinforcements out. Bailing speed is a follow-up, +1 flyer attacks also as a follow-up, so we're going Ling Bane. Ling Bane Muta. One siege tank over here, a little vulnerable inside of the main base. Okay, he does decide to commit here with at least a couple of the units. Medevac boost out of the corrosive bowel radius. 2-2 is about to finish up right here for the Terran. That's usually the moment where Terran wants to fight. So if it's the Zerg running into 2-2 Terran, he's gonna be a very happy Terran player. Still though, it's really only 2 base Terran up to this point, right? And it's very difficult to actually leave the main. Okay, he needs to break out of this. Corrosive bowels are everywhere. Okay, good splits. Very good splits, actually. Yep, dodging those biles like an absolute champ. 4th hatch, though, finished up already for Leenock. I think this is the moment where GuMiho has to go across the map. He's got Marine, Marauder, Medevac. He's got a couple of siege tanks, a few Widow Mines in there. Army supply-wise, this is still an advantage here for Leenock. But I'm liking this Terran army a hell of a lot better. Bailing speed is done, though. Roach Ravager, Mutaling Bane. It's a combination of multiples. Okay. There is scan. Energy. There's a little bit. He's got to be so careful. Okay, he does scan here, and he does see a few of the Oh, no. What? Oh, that was barely... Wait. Oh, one of them was a Zergling. Oh, no. One of the burrowed units was a Zergling. Ay. He blew up the units, but... you're not a Baneling, dude. Could have killed all of those Marines. Instead, we now have the Terran player stimming onto the creep. This hatchery is in a lot of trouble. One of the low ground already took a lot of damage as well. At the same time, though, Mutaling Bane going across the map. Couple of leftover roaches walking as fast as they can towards the 3rd CC. Both players end up losing the 3rd. Banelings, good control this time around. Oof. 9 more Banes, though, on the production tab. Mutas, Zerglings, and everything else decide to return back home as well. He needs to defend this. Siege tank's a little bit clumped up. 2 of them get killed relatively easily. Mutas probably will be hunting down that final tank as well. Oh my god, is Leenock actually pulling this off? I think he is! Medevacs are the only units that are really left over at this point, and he's gonna be forced to fly those back home. This hatchery still lives. Widowmine burrowed in the middle of the mineral line. Oh, GG is cold, and Leenock actually wins this game. Wow! Oh, that was so good! Nice! Alrighty. It's been a while since we've had such an aggressive series of Zerg versus Terran. But I like it. I could have casted this as well as a regular best of 5 series, it turns out. Anyways, our final map is going to be Oxide LE. As uncomfortable as I was there during that game, Leenock just, yeah, showing us some really good game sense, right? It really is not easy to play that style of Zerg. It always feels to me like the Terran base is impenetrable, but Leenock definitely showing us that if you know what you're doing, it's something you can deal with. And actually, the fact that he decided to go for the 1-1 Roach Ravager timing attack and then not commit after seeing the amount of Terran units there, that was also like a proper high-level move. Personally, I find myself getting very stubborn in those kind of scenarios, right? I show up with like, I don't know, my 2-2 bio army on the other side of the map, and I'm like, you know what? I know I probably won't win this, but my 2-2 is finished. Let's go! Maybe that's a problem, just for myself. But, yeah. It's happened many, many, many times. Leenock right there, holding back instead, which is kind of neat. Alright, so the final map is going to be Oxide. Normally not a map where Zerg is too comfortable. Wouldn't be surprised at all if once again he decides to go for Roaches and Ravagers. This is a genuinely good Roach Ravager map. A lot of siege tank positions and stuff, a lot of high grounds where you can deal damage. Barracks into low ground command center with orbital command, of course. Hatch gas pool right here for the Zerg. 2 drones are pulled out of gas at 60. Or a little bit before 60. One of these drones should move on over to the 3rd base, though. No? Oh, okay. He decided to go both Overlord and then also 2 Queens. Interesting. Normally the variant that you go for with this opener when you pull 2 drones out of gas at 60 is... Oh, okay. So I guess the Reaper is at home. Oh, you just got to skip the Reaper entirely. Okay. Normally you go for a quick 3rd hatchery with this sort of start. I mean, it still is a quick 3rd CC, or a quick 3rd hatch rather. Not a CC, Loko. But a little bit later than he could have gotten it. He decided to I guess he decided to go for the Overlord just in case his opponent would send both an SCV as well as a Reaper across, which makes a little bit of sense. So eventually link speed will start up. Terran in the meantime though, opening up with a bunch of Marines. Probably will be a tech lab. Where are we going? No, there's no Overlord here, man. There's no Overlord here either. Gumi, what are you doing? Gumi's like, well, there's always going to be an Overlord, right? If it's not there, it's right over here, right?
Upgrade complete.
Nope. Here's the fly of shame. GuMiho was feeling so smart. If a barracks could smile, this one would definitely be smiling. Anyways, it's gonna be a medevac once again, this time around. Not on the other side of the map, which is fair enough. Bailing Nest. Are you gonna play freaking Lingbane Muta on this map out of all maps? When this is like the Roach Ravager map in the map pool. Okay, then. Sure. Mind games is what we call those, huh? I think we call those mind games. Oh, okay. Armory comes up here as well for Gumi. So he wants to go for some Hellbat shenanigans. Does follow it up as well with a tech lab. Is it gonna be a Raven? Oh no, it's gonna be a Banshee. Okay, he had the gas for a Raven. See, now I wouldn't have minded the... I guess it does, yeah. I guess we know at this point that it's not... It's not a Roach Ravager's start here for the Zerg. Maybe that's why I like it. Gumi probably still has that in the back of his mind. What are we doing? Wait. We have an armory, but only 1 Hellbat inside of the main base, killing 2 workers. Hello. 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 It's a bit ambitious, isn't it? So some of the moves that these guys are making, I love it. And then other things are like, yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, keep in mind, they've only been playing StarCraft 2 again for a few months. So maybe some of that decision-making is just, you know, not as dialed in. Okay, now we go for a big group together with a Banshee. Really? Huh. I mean, it's still Ling Bane play. I'm just thinking, like, what if it would have been a Roach Warren, right? And it would have been a couple of Roaches. Is then that armory completely wasted? I mean, it still doesn't do anything. I guess it's forcing out a lot of Zerglings here, so every 2 Zerglings that you force out is 1 less drone, maybe? Banshee does have the cloaking upgrade. 2 Banshees in total. Second one is joining the first. Alright. And now a Roach Warren comes up. Huh? So if we're gonna go Banelings, normally we get Baneling speed, right? Double Roach Warren. Okay, no, that was a mistake. So normally the idea is you go for either Ling Bane or Roach Ravager, right? Normally you go for either of the 2. If you want to go Roaches though, why would you go Baneling Nest first? What was the advantage of going this Baneling Nest? Other than like trying to trick the opponent, I suppose. But it's not like GuMiho is gonna change up his strategy by scouting Roaches or Banelings, is he? So there's 1-1 as well as Roach Speed, all coming up at around the same time. Leenock is, I guess, at 4 hedge. He is at 3 base saturation. He can hit a crazy timing attack with like a maxed out Zerg army by the time that all of those upgrades are done. So maybe the idea is that like GuMiho scouts this and then decides to forego siege tanks or something? Like he scouts Ling Bane and he's like, oh, it's gonna be Ling Bane Muta again. I guess I won't go siege tanks with Widow Mines. And then the Roach and Ravagers show up and you shout, surprise! Wait, he cancelled Missile and he goes melee? Now he's going Hydra then as well. So I guess Hydra Lurker Ling Bane or something? I don't know, man. Leenock is taking a page out of GuMiho's book, it seems. It's like, well, you're flexible, watch me. They face off in like a yoga war. Is that a thing? It's a thing now. A yoga battle. How flexible are you? Bridge post in 3, 2, 1, go. Who does the best bridge? I don't know. Is that a thing? Competitive yoga? Probably. Probably. All right. Couple of Banelings. Centrifugal hooks 10 seconds away from finishing. Sadly here for Leenock though. The Banshees just found it. They are hunting for that mineral line. Barely not gonna happen. This looks so much cleaner for GuMiho though. GuMiho is now sitting at 2-2 upgrades. Well, he's starting up 2-2 upgrades rather. Going Ling Bane, or Ling Bane. Marine, it's been a long cast, okay? He's going Marine, Siege Tank, Medivac, and whatever leftover unit he had from earlier. So we have Hydra Ling Bane here for the Zerg player. Ling Bane coming in from round the back as well. This Siege Tank over here getting a nice amount of kills. Yeah, this Leenock army is just not focused around anything, right? And when you, like, invest into everything, you just die to, like, standard pushes. Like, we've seen Leenock build so much. Yeah, we've seen him build so much tech. And obviously, you've got to pay for those structures, right? Like, it seems a little bit disjointed. And eventually, with just a standard timing attack, which is what this was right here from GuMiho, he just overwhelms the Zerg player because he's got too much. Anyways, a very fun series of Terran versus Zerg. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, make sure you take that 1 second that it takes. If you made it all the way until the end of this video, to hit that like button down below. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.